we've been taught that assimilation is holiness, and that's what keeps us safe, and that's what makes relationships valuable. But is it actually? Like,
Mm.
no matter, that's not even biblical. Like, it's just not. So wherever you're at, if you're in a place where you're like, I just don't know, take a step back and ask how you were taught to determine if someone is worthy of a real relationship with you. Start there.
Mm.
Just pull on that thread a little bit. Don't even worry about what the Bible says. Don't even worry about, anything other than just like, what makes me think people are worthy of being part of my most vulnerable story.
Hmm.
Start there and just see where you land.
Yeah. So it's not so much a conversation then of complimenting, or complimenting actually might be a good word for this, but it's not so much them being a cookie cutter version of you, which I already agree with wholeheartedly. But it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like the next step is, are they actively harming? And if not, then you're free to build a deeper relationship over time through those
Right.
shared conversations.
Yeah.
I love the word assimilation too. I'm a big Star Trek person, and so well, sorry, let me. I'm a big Star Trek person.
Nice.
This is sitting right behind me. But I'm a big Star Trek person, and in Star Trek, they have the Borg,
Mm-hmm.
and their whole thing is they travel around and they assimilate people into this huge cube. This is so nerdy. I can't believe I'm doing this on the show, but the whole thing is that there's no individuality. Like, there's only the collective. And I've never thought about that in parallel to most religion, but that seems to be most communities that people are in. It's a collective where individuality has to be checked at the door to be a member, but the strength is in the diversity of the people who are in the relationship. Like, a true community has people of different personalities and perspectives, all kind of checking and balancing with each other, which is
Right.
why the crew in Star Trek always has a leg up on the collective, which, um,
Exactly.
yeah. So there you go. There's my Star Trek
I think it's
terminology
amazing.
today. But
It
I when you
is.
said assimilate, I was like, that is literally, most religious groups are just giant Borg cubes.
They
Yeah.
are. Yeah. I mean, that's Cult 101.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of people, a lot of clients that I work with, we can't go into Shiny Happy People. We can't go into some of those documentaries that have been released because it's too close to home.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, was I in a cult? Was I not in a cult?" Go watch a cult documentary that has nothing to do with religion
Mm.
and pay attention to how people get broken down. Because Cult 101 is that if I can rob you of your autonomy, your ability to make decisions as an independent human being, then where does that power go? Because you don't have power anymore. It goes into the collective.
Mm-hmm.
So a system that can strip us away from our own power gets stronger,
Mm.
which is why this is mind boggling. Okay. That's why asking questions that are just a little bit out of that defined perimeter of your religious organization gets such a just violent response,
Mm.
because you're not just asking questions, you're threatening authoritative power.
Mm.
And anytime authoritative power is threatened, it gets messy. It gets really defensive and it gets really angry and really violent. And that's what we're seeing right now in
Mm-hmm.
deconstruction spaces, because so many people are stepping out and they're like, I don't know what's next for me, but I know what's happening right now is not healthy or safe. I'm out. And the more of us that disconnect, the more of us that become those nuns, NONES, that are in so many of the different research and surveys, the less power that organization has.